see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sex.
Toprak Razgatlioglu has finally spoken out about the significant differences he feels between Michelin tires in MotoGP and the Pirelli tires, which have been his primary weapon in World SBK. His statement immediately drew significant attention from the MotoGP paddock. For Toprak, Pirelli is more than just an ordinary tire, but a characteristic that has become deeply integrated with his aggressive riding style over the years. The Turkish rider admitted that adapting to Michelin in MotoGP 2026 was no easy task. When the bike loses grip, Michelin reacts much more unpredictable. Toprak feels that when the tires start to slip, the condition can worsen without much warning. This situation is very different from his long experience with Pirelli, where he felt he could still read the tire's limits and control the bike with his signature hard-braking riding style. This is why the news that MotoGP will switch to Pirelli in the new regulation era, in 2027, has sparked curiosity among many fans. It's no secret that many observers believe the change in tire supplier could be a major advantage for Toprak. In fact, several MotoGP analysts believe that Pirelli's tire DNA perfectly suits the World SBK World Champions riding style. In the midst of his debut season with Yamaha, Toprak is still struggling to find the perfect feel for the MotoGP bike. But he's not giving up. Every test, every practice session, and every lap is a crucial step in understanding the bike's behavior and tire characteristics, which are completely different from those of the superbike world. This significant challenge is actually shaping Toprak into a more complete rider. Interestingly, some private MotoGP tests are even starting to involve evaluating both Michelin and Pirelli tires simultaneously, opening up the possibility of significant developments for the future of the new regulations. For Toprak, moments like these are crucial because they give him the opportunity to re-experience the characteristics of a tire he's more familiar with. Now, the big question is emerging in the racing world. If MotoGP officially uses Pirelli in 2027, will it be a turning point in Toprak Razgatlioglu's career? Will the rider, long known as the king of brutal braking, finally be able to unleash his full potential in the Premier class? One thing is certain: a change in tires could drastically alter the competitive landscape. And if Pirelli truly provides Toprak with greater safety and control, then his rivals may have to start preparing for the most dangerous version of El Turco. And here is the full news. Toprak Razgatlioglu has finally made another statement that has immediately attracted significant attention from the international motorcycle racing world. The Turkish rider, long known as one of the most aggressive, daring, and unique riders when it comes to riding at the limit, has begun to speak more openly about the significant differences he experiences between Michelin tires in MotoGP and the Pirelli tires, his primary partner in World SBK for years. What Toprak shared isn't just a typical rider's opinion, but a significant confession that sheds light on why his adaptation to MotoGP hasn't been as easy as many imagined. For some fans, seeing Toprak compete in MotoGP is like a dream come true. Toprak Razgatlioglu has long been considered worthy of the Premier class. His riding style differs from most modern riders. He is renowned for his super late braking, exceptional front-end control, and the courage to pull off maneuvers that sometimes seem impossible for other riders. Over the years in World SBK, these abilities have become a strong identity that has made him feared by his opponents. However, when he entered MotoGP, the world Toprak faced turned out to be far more complex than many expected. MotoGP isn't just about being a fast rider. MotoGP is a complex combination of top-level technology, extreme aerodynamics, sophisticated electronics, highly sensitive motorcycle characteristics, and, of course, tires, which are one of the most crucial elements. This is where the biggest challenge begins for Toprak. He admits that Pirelli tires have a character that feels safer and easier to understand. This doesn't mean they are automatically faster, but there's a stronger sense of connection between rider and bike. When the bike starts to push its limits, when grip starts to decrease, or when the front end starts to feel like it's going to veer off the racing line, TOPRAK still feels able to read the signals the tires are giving. There's still clear communication. There's still room to react. This has been the foundation of his riding style for years. In contrast, when using Michelin in MotoGP, the situation feels different. TOPRAK admits that the process of understanding the behavior of MotoGP tires is much more difficult. The feeling, which is usually his main weapon, doesn't come instantly. Grip changes can be felt very quickly, braking characteristics change, and the way the bike responds to rider input requires a completely new approach. For an average rider, this might just be considered a normal part of adaptation. But for a rider like TOPRAK, whose entire strength is built on confidence in the front tire and the ability to read the limits of grip, small changes can have a huge impact. This is why TOPRAK's journey in MotoGP has been filled with a challenging learning curve. Every practice session is a field of experimentation. Every test is an opportunity to learn something new. The technical team works hard to find the best setup that best suits the rider's riding style. But at the MotoGP level, there are no quick fixes. Often, just a small change in tire pressure, weight distribution, bike height, or electronic braking characteristics is enough to drastically change the bike's behavior. And amidst this arduous process, TOPRAK maintains the mentality of a fighter. He doesn't blame anyone. He doesn't make excuses. He understands that entering MotoGP means entering the most competitive environment in two-wheeled racing. All the fastest riders in the world are there. All the manufacturers are working tirelessly. Every detail is fought for to the limit. But at the same time, TOPRAK's comments about Pirelli immediately sparked a major discussion that went far beyond just personal adaptation. Because the entire MotoGP world knew one important fact. MotoGP would be entering a major regulation change in the 2027 season. And one of the most talked about changes was the switch to Pirelli tires. This news caused many observers to begin viewing TOPRAK's situation from a different angle. Suddenly, big questions began to emerge. Will the tire change actually be a major advantage for TOPRAK Razgatlioglu? Has his biggest challenge been the Michelin's characteristics, which haven't fully suited his racing instincts? And most interestingly, what would happen if TOPRAK finally reclaimed the tire characteristics that have been part of his racing DNA for years? The speculation was not without basis. TOPRAK isn't just learning to understand Pirelli. He's built his elite career on them. He's won spectacular races.